Welcome back. Let's begin by looking at how to use sinking in during some aspect of eating, which could be before, during, or after. For example, let's say that all of a sudden you feel hungry, and so you begin to do the awareness around eating process. During it, you discover that it's not actually physical hunger. It's something related to psychological conditioning. Of course, if you want to, you can always give into it and eat, but that's probably not your first choice if you're looking to better manage your weight. So now that you're a finder, you want to do the alternative and both keep that conditioning in your awareness and sink as deeply as you can into fundamental well-being. Ideally, you do this until the craving passed, or at least for as long as possible. Every moment that you do this powerfully deconditions the eating trigger. Notice that you didn't have to figure out what was causing it, where it came from in your past, or anything like that. You simply had to put your awareness on it and sink deeply into fundamental well-being. Conditioning around eating can be very deep and powerful, so it's very possible that a single session of sinking in won't take care of a trigger like this. But if you keep at it, sinking in each time the trigger occurs, eventually it will. And it has a great side benefit. Generally, the more that you sink in, the more that you will deepen into and develop your fundamental well-being itself. So, not only in this case are you eliminating psychological related food-based cravings, you're also progressing in fundamental well-being all at the same time. These are two very powerful benefits from a single use of time. Of course, you can use this same method with other aspects of eating as well, such as getting yourself to eat healthier by changing your cravings for less healthy food, or sensing and stopping when you're full during a meal. For example, you might find that you have conditioning that has biased you towards stronger fullness signals that are way beyond the more subtle ones that indicate when you're actually physiologically full and are thus causing you to overeat. Or you might find that even though you can accurately sense when your body is full, you continue to overeat anyway. Both of these are great examples of moments when sinking in can be applied. The best thing about using sinking in the moment is that you get instant feedback on how well it's working. You're actually experiencing the trigger, whether a craving, a tendency towards undesirable behavior, or whatever it is, in the moment that it's actually happening. As you sink in and get distance from it, you'll be able to feel the conditioning and its associated trigger increasingly lose its power. That's extremely useful feedback, and you can just sink in until any chance of you feeling forced into undesirable action passes, or longer until more of the actual underlying conditioning pattern dissolves. Just a bit of sinking in is often enough to get sufficient psychological distance that you no longer feel out of control or unable to resist the trigger. That's great, especially if you're in an eating situation where you can't sink in longer, such as when you're in a rush or when you're eating with your friends. Sinking in past this initial point, the point where you lose the desire for action, will generally begin to more deeply impact the underlying conditioning itself. And typically, the longer and deeper you go, the more this will be the case. This can help to reduce or eliminate the trigger altogether. Some conditioning may simply never return again just from one deep sinking in session. Other conditioning will fade a little or a lot with each session, but will take more than one. The moment conditioning occurs is generally the best time to sink in and work on it. But, of course, this isn't always possible. In the next video, we'll cover how to sink in at other, potentially more convenient times. I'll see you there.